Hey, it's Matt, and welcome to my sketchbook tour. So, I have a lot of different sketchbooks that I use for a lot of different reasons, but this one is probably one of my favorite to show off because it's a little bit more finished looking. A lot of my sketchbooks I use for ideas and thumbnails for projects that I'm working on, and just all around brainstorming. So this sketchbook was for a class actually when I was a student at Art Center, and my teacher was the late and great Norm Sherman, and the name of the class, I totally forgot the name of the class, but I think I wrote it in the beginning. It is Visual Communication 6, which is funny because I never took the first 5 visual communication courses. But what was interesting about these classes, these were actually in the industrial design area. And as an illustrator, a lot of times, we take a lot of figure classes, and, we learn how to draw things organic, but I wasn't as good at drawing things like cars or robots or things that were mechanical. So whenever I had the opportunity, I would take courses where I would learn how to draw products and just kind of get a little bit more of a product design feel into my repertoire. So these were just some basic exercises, and the way that the class worked was awesome. And one of the things that was interesting that I think I learned a lot in this class, we were not allowed to use pencils. So everything that you see in this sketchbook is drawn with pens, and of course, because it's a tone sketchbook, we could go in either with color pencil or whiteout or those gel pens. Sometimes they're called milky pens. But anything that we drew was in there for real, and you'd make a mark with a pen, and that's it. So what Norm would say is this was teaching you how to draw correctly the first time. So what was great about this class is at Art Center, our classes, including this one, our classes were 7 hours long once a week. So this class, we would actually take a field trip every other week, and this is from the LA Arboretum, and we would take our sketchbook and draw awesome things that we would see. So what was great, what we would do in this example here, we went to the LA Zoo, and we would draw all of the animals, and then when we came back the next week, we would have to do something creative. So here you can see when I came back the next week, this is Buffalo City. In my imagination, this is a skyscraper of the future, and it looks like I wrote it's 2358 AD. And here's my flying tortoise over here. But a true story, real quick, that was really great about these drawings from the LA Zoo. I posted these sketches years later on my website, just as an example, because people love seeing sketchbook material. I think I mentioned that it was the Los Angeles Zoo, and they actually contacted me, the LA Zoo, and they wanted to buy the rights to the images of these sketches that you're looking at right here, and they actually made this really cool souvenir booklet that I think still to this day you can get in their gift shop, and it included these sketches, and it's like a souvenir book that kind of looks like a passport, but it has all of my sketches in there, and I was just blown away. And that's yet another reason why I always say, even if you're doing something for school, anything worth doing is worth doing well. Give it all your A game. When I did these sketches, I was just trying to do a good job for class. I had no idea that that these would ever be published or end up in a product from the LA Zoo. That was just that was crazy. That was wild. But you only get out what you put in, so make it great. So here's some more fun with experimenting with different textures with the animals. So the next thing that we had to do, we went to the LA County Museum of Science and Industry, the Natural History Museum, where we got to see all of the dinosaur bones. and that was really, really cool to spend a day going through the museum. And what was great about it, it really kind of taught us a lot about structure and the way that animals work. This is one of my favorites right here. In fact, I actually, when I used to do my Fantastic Vision shows, I had that printed on a shirt. Again, no pencil. We just had to go in with pen and just kind of scribble in, and we had to draw correctly the first time to make it work. So then when we came back the following week, the challenge was we had to create our own dinosaur based on the studies that we had made the week before. So it couldn't just be a crazy alien with googly eyes on its head. Specifically, it had to be a dinosaur that does not exist, but it had to somehow look like it could be something that that could have existed long ago. And you can see just really experimenting with cool borders. By the way, this fish skull in real life, this thing was like the size of a car motor, and it was actually found, it's native to North America, it was found in the Colorado River. So that's what was swimming around here way back in the day. And so here's some more illustrations of the dinosaur based on my own design back then. Some more studies. So here we actually, for this field trip, we went to Chino Airport, where we got to draw a lot of historical planes. A lot of fun. And when we came back, we had to create our own vintage aircraft. So specifically, not just a futuristic, like flying saucer, but something that looks like it's from the past, yet it's something new that's never been done before. So this, believe it or not, this is actually the very first time I came up with, and this one's called a Sail Racer L77 Sky Sail, but this was the inception of the Sky Sail, which is the main vehicle that Aladdin flies in Aladdin 3477, but that's the very first drawing of it, the first incarnation of a sky sail. What the challenge was here, we had to show in 10 steps how to do something, but with no reading required. We couldn't write any words. It could have been how to tie your shoe, how to do, you know, kind of anything like that. So here's all my thumbnails over here. Again, I love in sketchbooks when you're working from top to bottom, from side to side, really covering your pages. I think it's just utilizing your page real estate is really cool, and it just makes it fun for people to look through. It's like there's something in every little nook and cranny to discover and to really see how you think and how you put your ideas together. So anyway, so here was me. Here's my little light bulb. This is where you come up with your idea and your thumbnail. Here you're kind of scribbling it in, and then here's pencil. Even though you're not supposed to use pencil, I know. Well, I was showing how to do a finished illustration, and I kind of painted this right in my sketchbook. And so I did 2 of them, just because I was an overachiever. Here's my Indiana Jones, and then over here, here's another step-by-step of how to draw the Terminator. This is Arnold from T2, and you can kind of see this right here. This is all the art tools kind of showing each step of the way and what tool I was using to get to this right here. So this over here, this is probably just some alien creatures I was designing. These are just some dudes fighting, but this was how I came up with the idea for dicers, which are these laser weapons that you're going to see in the Aladdin 3477 movies. So here I was experimenting with grayscale markers with the tone paper and the highlights, and of course it's always fun to do dark stuff. I was really inspired by the sky sail though, so here are some drawings I did of the sky sail flying around. Little did I know I would be filming a trilogy of movies where Aladdin gets to ride this thing in the future. And for this sketchbook, that is the end. Thank you so much for hanging out with me with my sketchbook tour. I've got Matt's class going on where I give all kinds of really cool tips, but more importantly, since this is a sketchbook, you really should be checking out Sketchbook Challenge, where you are given all these really cool challenges, some of them very similar to the material that I did do in this sketchbook way back when. These challenges will really help you draw better, they'll help you be more creative, and it'll of course help you fill your sketchbook. So that's all I got for today, but thank you for hanging out with me with my sketchbook tour.